With us now to discuss is Oded Ailam, former Mossad deputy head of global operations. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate your time. To get into it now with Iran reversing course, I'm just wondering your view on how much does this set back efforts to make a deal?
First of all, thank you for having me. Iran has no other alternative right now but going back, I would say, to crawl back into the table of negotiations. Since I think what Trump had did with the Hormuz Straits, it's like in jiu-jitsu, is using the strength of the Iranians against themselves by closing down the Hormuz and turn completely everything on the Iranians. We have to remember the Iranians, without being able to export their oil, their commodities from Bandar Abbas, are almost choked to death. In 13 days, if they are not able to export oil, the whole facility is going to be suffered for years. So they have to come to terms in regard to the negotiation table. And I can assume, although in the Middle East, assumption is very risky, that they will concede on some parts of the nuclear program.
Yeah, and we're watching each and every move here. And President Trump reports that the U.S. is considering releasing $20 billion in frozen Iranian funds in exchange for Iran giving up its enriched uranium. Iran also saying it will not hand it over. So when you look at that back and forth, how likely is Iran to give up its nuclear program at this point? It doesn't sound like they're going to.
First of all, I think the main point is to choke to death this regime. And let's not forget, the initial intention and the initial objective is a change of the regime, although it was not part of the objective, of the formal objective, but this should be an objective. You don't cure a disease by changing the symptoms. And as long as this regime holds, there will be they will try to bypass any sort of engagement on any sort of agreement. So I think by unfreezing or defreezing the $20 billion is, by the way, they have about $100 billion that are frozen in banks across the world. I think it might be problematic if we are thinking on a wider aspect of choking this regime and let them to bleed to death. So right now, the prospect of them coming to the negotiation table, as I said before, is more likely than trying to turn the table on the negotiation.
Yeah, I wanted to also turn to the potential White House meeting with Israel and Lebanon. I'm wondering what you think about, the possibility that a permanent agreement is within reach. How do you see it?
I don't see it anything that can achieve, let's say, in the next phase, rather than some cosmetic or some handshakes and so on. There's no way that right now the fragile Lebanese government can initiate any sort of peace talks that will actually take place as long as the militia of the Hezbollah control the streets. There has to be a fundamental change within the regime, within the army. Let's not forget the Lebanese army that has to take control on Lebanon and to express sovereignty is 60% are Shiites. Most of the commanders in the intelligence are Shiite. They will not go against their brothers. They will not go against the Hezbollah. So there is a lot of work needed to be done in order to eliminate the force of the Hezbollah and to the Lebanese government to gain support and courage.
Mm-hmm. We're also watching what Axios is reporting, that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was shocked with the president's post declaring Lebanon strikes were prohibited. That's contradicting the ceasefire agreement. I mean, do you think that Trump and Netanyahu are still aligned on all of this when it comes to the Middle East?
I'm absolutely Netanyahu and Trump on the same page regarding to what is happening. There are some Israeli interests that do not comply completely with the American interests, but in general speaking, they are on the same page. And I would not take it too seriously, all those media saying he was shocked and so on. I think there are some discrepancies, and I think sometimes the ticking clock of the Israeli is not aligned with the American ticking clock, but nevertheless, I think they're on the same page.
All right. Well, we're going to watch it together. Former Mossad Deputy Head of Global Operations, Oded Ailam. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And we do